Did you say that's George Antrobus?
Yes, of course it's George Antrobus. Isn't he the man you told me about, the man who came to your flat?
No, it isn't.
Then who the devil was it? What did he look like, this man you saw?
Well, he was about the same age, but he was a completely different type. My God, Inspector, I never dreamt for a second that it wasn't Antrobus.
Get into the car, drive 50 yards up the road and wait for me. I'll be with you in 10 minutes.
What for?
Do as I ask you, Mr. Foster, please.
Caught up myself on Tuesday morning. Bye-bye.
Good morning, Mr. Antrobus.
Good morning, Inspector. Is there any news?
Well, I expect you've seen the morning's papers, eh?
No, I haven't.
Well, somebody tried to murder a girl called Joyce Dean. We think it was the same man. We're pretty sure it was, in fact.
When was this, then?
Oh, last night on Carston Heath. Tried to strangle her. Fortunately, she put up a fight. Incidentally, Miss Dean is a local girl. I don't know whether you know her or not.
Well, we've never met, but I certainly know who you mean. I used to see her quite a lot when I used to go to the hospital.
That's right, yes. Well, she works for a Dr. Swanley at the moment.
Yes, a rather ambitious girl, they used to say.
Ambitious? In what way ambitious, sir?
Well, I suppose most of it was gossip, really. Jealousy, I suppose. It was just that the hospital weren't too pleased when she left here and went to work in London.
I see. Mr. Antrobus, had your daughter a very good memory?
Well, yes, I think so. She certainly hadn't got a bad one.
She didn't make a habit of jotting things down just in case she forgot them?
No, not to my knowledge. No, I don't think she did, Inspector.
Oh, may I use your phone?
Yes, do go ahead. You'll find it on the desk.
Oh, Mr. Antrobus.
Yes, Inspector.
Did you know that your daughter took drugs?
Drugs? Mary?
She'd been taking heroin for some time.
I don't believe it. I don't believe you, Inspector.
Well, I'm sorry, sir, but it's true. There's a medical report on my desk. It came through this morning.
Extension 193, Sergeant Gibbs.
Carter here.
Oh, good morning, sir. I've been trying to get in touch with you.
Well, I'm out at Elvingdale. Now, what's happened? Have you seen Miss Dean?
Yes, I've just got back, sir. She's very much better. Made quite a good recovery, in fact.
Did you get a description from her?
Yes, I did, sir. She said the man was about 6 foot, clean-shaven, fair, and was apparently wearing a suede jacket of some kind.
Well, she certainly has made a quick recovery. She couldn't remember a damn thing last night. Anything else?
Yes, she said the man wore a bracelet. She felt it while she was struggling with him.
Oh, what does she mean? An identity bracelet?
No, on his wristwatch, sir, instead of a strap.
Oh, I see. Right. Thanks, Sergeant. I'll be in touch. When you interviewed Miss Dean, was Dr. Swanley there?
Part of the time, sir. He left while I was talking to her.
Right, thank you, Sergeant. I've been on to the yard. Miss Dean seems very much better. She's made a remarkably quick recovery, in fact.
Oh, good. I'm very glad to hear it.
Yes, I thought you would be, Mr. Foster. Tell me, what were you wearing last night, sir, when you went out to Carston Heath?
Last night? A pair of grey flannel trousers and a jacket.
Ordinary sports jacket?
Yes. Well, no, actually, it was a suede jacket.
What time do you make it, sir? I think my watch has stopped.
It's just after 12.
I thought you had a wristwatch, rather a nice one with a bracelet.
Yes, I have, actually. And unfortunately, yesterday it got broken. Why are you so interested in my watch?
When did the bracelet break?
Yesterday afternoon.
Before you went out to Carston Heath?
Yes.
So you didn't wear it last night?
No, how could I?
Oh, why couldn't you?
Well, for two reasons, Inspector. First of all, it was broken, and secondly, I hadn't got it with me. I put it into a jeweler's yesterday afternoon to be repaired.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Now, I'd like to hear a little more about that visitor of yours, the man who called himself George Antrobus. Now, there's a very nice pub down the road. Perhaps you'd like to tell me all about it over a glass of beer.
All right.
Was the revolver loaded?
I don't know whether it was loaded or not, but I certainly thought it was at the time.
And you definitely recognize the man again?
Yes, of course I would.
What time was it when he phoned you?
It'd be just after breakfast. He said that his son Peter had found the note, and that it tied up with the phone call that his daughter had made. The one that he'd mentioned the day before. My God, Inspector, he was so convincing. I never believed for a moment that it wasn't George Antrobus.
Tell me again, sir, what did he say was in the note?
9 o'clock, Felix H. and M.
And you thought the Felix referred to Felix Hepburn?
Yes, I did.
And the M? Thought the M referred to your wife?
Yes.
Precisely what you were intended to think, sir. Mr. Foster, your wife is dead. Let there be no doubt in your mind about that. The body was identified not only by you, but by several other people as well.
I know that. I keep telling myself, but so many curious things have happened.
Such as, sir?
Well, there was the night I came back and found Melissa's record playing. Nobody in the flat. And then there was the handkerchief with the initial on it. And the voice on the phone. Melissa's voice.
You've had a pretty rough time lately, haven't you, Mr. Foster?
Inspector, may I ask you a frank question?
Certainly. But you may not get a very frank answer.
Do you think I murdered Melissa?
No, I don't.
Well, why don't you?
Because of something you once said to me.
Something I said?
You said that your wife used to buy a lot of hats, but she hardly ever wore one.
And that convinced you that I didn't kill her?
Yes, sir, that convinced me.
Dr. Swanley won't keep you long now, Inspector.
Thank you. Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Page. This is a surprise.
I think I left my hat in here.
Just been having a check-up with Dr. Swanley?
Yes, that's right.
Well, I'm glad I bumped into you, sir. I was going to give you a ring. I believe you told Mr. Foster that his wife made a great deal of money gambling.
Yes, that's right. That's how Melissa, Mrs. Foster, bought her jewellery.
Did you go gambling with Mrs. Foster, sir?
No, that sort of thing doesn't appeal to me. I'm not a gambler.
Then how do you know that she was? I mean, how do you know that she won all that money gambling?
No, because she told me so. Why, she even turned up at my flat one night with £1,700, cash.
1,700? Mr. Page, since I last met you, we've made extensive inquiries in the West End about Mrs. Foster.
Well?
Well, if, as you suggest, she won all that money gambling, how is it that she wasn't known at any of the usual clubs?
Oh, but she was. Carrington's, for instance.
Did Mrs. Foster tell you she'd been to Carrington's?
Yes, several times.
That doesn't tie up with our information, sir. We've checked at Carrington's, and they'd never heard of her until she was murdered.
I don't understand that.
Neither do I, sir. You say Mrs. Foster came to your flat one night with £1,700 in cash?
Yes, that's right.
How did she carry all that money? Not in a handbag, surely.
No, as a matter of fact, she
had a hat box with her on that occasion, sir.
Yes, that's right. But how on earth did you know?
I'm very sorry to have kept you waiting, Inspector, but Wednesday's always pretty hectic, I'm afraid.
It's very good of you to see me without an appointment. Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Page.
Good afternoon, Inspector. Afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon. Would you like to come to my room, or shall we talk here?
Oh, we can talk here, sir, if it's all right with you.
Yes, of course.
We shan't keep you long, Doctor.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude, Inspector. Please, do sit down.
Thank you.
I think I can guess what you want to see me about.
Yes, I'm a little worried about Miss Dean.
Yes.
See, she's given us a very useful description of the man who attacked her, but unfortunately her explanation as to why she went out to Carston Heath seems a little vague. She's supposed to have had a telegram from an ex-boyfriend asking her to meet him. Unfortunately, she can't produce the telegram, and as it turns out, the boyfriend's in Sweden.
In Sweden?
Yes, sir. You've no idea why she went out to Carston Heath, Doctor?
I'm sorry, Inspector, I haven't.
What time did she leave here yesterday?
Oh, the usual time, about 5:30.
Where did you first meet Miss Dean, Doctor?
I met her in Elvingdale about 18 months ago. I paid a visit to the local hospital, and she introduced herself. She said she wanted to work in town. Well, a few months later, when my secretary left to get married, I remembered Joyce and offered her a job.
Quite a lucky break for her.
Yes, I suppose it was, but it was a lucky break for me, too. She's a pleasant girl and very efficient. I should be sorry to lose her.
Oh, is she leaving you then, Doctor?
Why, yes, didn't you know? She's going to Canada. She leaves me at the end of the week.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. She gave me her notice about a month ago. It was a disappointment, of course, but there was nothing I could do about it. She is a nice girl, Joyce, but very ambitious, very.
Yes, so I understand, sir.
I'm sorry, Doctor, but your patient has arrived.
Thank you. I'm afraid you'll have to excuse me, Inspector.
Yes, of course, sir.
You've got my private number, just in case?
I have indeed, sir.
God,
Paula, what's the matter?
I was knocked down by a car. I came out of a shop.
Oh, my God. Oh, no, my dear, it's all right. It's all right, don't worry. Come along. Come on in and have a drink and lie down. When I've given you a drink, I'm going to call for a doctor. There's a very good one just round the corner.
Don't bother. I'll be better in a minute.
Are you sure, my dear?
Yes. Don't worry, Ducky.
Here, drink this. Better?
Oh, yes, I feel much better. I think it was more shock than anything else.
Well, now tell me what actually happened.
Well, I don't know what happened. I was shopping in Oliver Street. You know, that's that quiet little street round the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I came out of a shop and I was walking towards my car when suddenly a van came out of a side turning. Well, fortunately, I saw it in time, otherwise I don't think the van actually touched me, but I was just so frightened I ran into a cyclist.
Oh, I see. Did the van stop?
No.
Oh, why? Didn't the driver see you?
Oh, yes, he saw me. He must have done.
Well, then why didn't he stop?
I don't know.
Did you get his number?
No, I'm afraid I didn't. It would all happen so quickly, and I just never thought about it.
Well, I'm very glad you had the common sense to come round here, Paula.
Well, I was on my way home and I was just feeling so awful. And I suddenly remembered that you lived round the corner. Guy, do you mind if I use your bathroom?
Oh, of course, my dear.
It's all right, Ducky. I know where it is. Oh, are you expecting somebody?
Yes, the inspector rang me about an hour ago and said he wanted to see me.
Oh, Lord. Well, don't tell him anything about this business, please, Guy. I mean, you know what he's like. He'd keep me here all morning asking questions.
All right, Paula. Mrs. Hepburn's here.
Oh.
She's in the bathroom.
Oh, indeed, sir?
Yes, she was passing by and didn't feel very well.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Nothing serious, I hope.
Oh, no, nothing serious.
I shan't keep you very long, Mr. Foster. But I have some photographs here I'd like you to take a look at.
Some photographs?
Yes, well, we are particularly anxious to identify the gentleman who passed himself off as George Antrobus.
Oh.
Just say yes or no, sir.
No. No. Yes. Yes, definitely.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Hepburn. I'm sorry to hear you haven't been well.
Oh, I was involved in a car accident. It was nothing serious. It was rather nasty at the time.
Yes, of course. Was this in London?
Yes, but it was nothing really, Inspector. Guy, I think I'd like to go home now, if you don't mind. Ducky.
Yes, of course, my dear. Shall I drive you?
No, it's quite all right. I've quite recovered.
All right, then I'll see you down. I shan't be a minute, Inspector. Now, you're quite sure you feel well enough to drive, Paula?
Yes, don't worry, dear. I feel much better now. You've been very sweet, Guy.
Nonsense, my dear. What are friends for? Now, be careful, Paula. Inspector, what did you say this man's name is?
Pelham. George Pelham. Although he has half a dozen aliases. George Nottingham, Charles Weston, take a choice.
What does he do?
Well, he's a forger. At least he was until he switched into the confidence racket. We knocked him off in '57 for selling a London bus to an unsuspecting Texan. He got 3 years.
But why should he come round here and pretend to be George Antrobus?
Because somebody paid him to, Mr. Foster. I paid him very handsomely, that's my guess.
Paid him? But why?
To get you out to Carston Heath. See, if Miss Dean was murdered out there and you could prove you were somewhere else, they couldn't very well pin the murder on you, could they, Mr. Foster?
No, but Joyce Dean wasn't murdered.
No, I know she wasn't.
What do you think happened that night?
I'll tell you what I think happened. Somebody arranged a meeting with Joyce Dean, and they weren't sure how that meeting was going to turn out. They knew there was a chance they might have to use force. That, in fact, they might have to kill her. And they had you on tap as a #1 suspect.
Oh, what about Joyce Dean? What does she have to say about all this?
Well, she's given us a description of the man, if that's what you mean. A very full description. It fits you like a glove.
It fits me?
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, she said you were wearing your wristwatch at the time.
Well, why in God's name should Joyce Dean want to incriminate me? I've only met the girl twice.
I don't know why, sir.
I've a damn good mind to go around there and ask Miss Dean what the hell she thinks she's playing at.
Well, it'll have to be quick, sir. She's leaving for Canada at the end of the week. Can't imagine why she wants to go to Canada. She has a very nice flat. Normandy Court, Kensington. It's very pleasant, £35 a week, unfurnished.
Sorry to have kept you.
I want to have a word with you, Miss Dean.
I'm sorry, Mr. Foster, but I'm expecting someone. I don't think you heard what I said.
I heard. Can we talk in here?
I'll give you exactly 3 minutes.
We shan't need 3 minutes if you tell the truth.
The point is, Mr. Foster, will you recognize the truth when you hear it?
Try me and see.
What is it you want to know?
I want to know why you deliberately gave Inspector Carter the impression that I was the man who attacked you on Carston Heath.
I didn't give him that impression. The sergeant asked me for a description of the man, and I simply gave it to him.
You knew perfectly well when you gave him that description that you were throwing suspicion onto me.
That's not true.
Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you?
I don't know.
Oh, do you think it was me?
I've told you I don't know.
I'm asking you, do you think it was me?
I've told you I don't know if it was you or not.
You look angry, Miss Dean.
I am angry, intensely angry.
But not
How dare
frightened.
you come here?
Not at all frightened, curiously enough.
What do you mean?
If you really thought that I was the man who attacked you that night, you wouldn't be standing here talking to me like this. You'd be scared. You'd be so damn scared, you'd be raising the roof.
I never said that you attacked me. I simply gave the sergeant a description
You gave
of
the police a description of me. I want to know why.
I'm sorry, Mr. Foster. I just don't know what you're talking about. I've told the police the truth, and there's nothing else I can say.
You've never told the police the truth. You've lied right from the very beginning. You lied about my visit to Dr. Swanley. You lied about my health.
Now look, Mr. Foster, I am not going to discuss your visit to Dr. Swanley. If you've anything to say about that, say it to the inspector, or to Dr. Swanley himself. But please, not to me. Now, if you'll excuse me. I'm sorry, Mr. Foster, but you'll have to excuse me. A friend of mine has arrived.
I hope you like Canada, Miss Dean. If you make it.
What do you mean? Why shouldn't I make it?
You tell me.
really shouldn't have taken it, sir.
Oh, I know I shouldn't have taken it, Inspector, but what would you have done in the circumstances?
Yes, well, tell me about Miss Dean's visitor. Was it a man or a woman?
Well, I think it was Mrs. Hepburn. I didn't actually see her. Whoever it was shown into the bedroom.
Well, what makes you think it was Mrs. Hepburn?
Because I saw her car outside. At least I think it was her car.
Not sure.
Well, yes, I am. I'm pretty sure.
I take it you've been through this, sir?
Yes, I have. But there are only two names that I remember. Apart, of course, from our friend Nottingham, or Pelham, or whatever he's called.
Mary Antrobus and Don Page.
Yes.
What about Carol Stewart?
Carol Stewart? Is her name that?
Carol, Hunter 5401. That's Miss Stewart.
Oh, I didn't realize it was her. She's the one that Don Page took home, the one that made a nuisance of herself at the party.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, if Carol Stewart knows Joyce Dean, it's my bet that she also knows Dr. Swanley.
It's possible, sir, but I don't quite see where it gets us. May I use your phone, Mr. Foster?
Yes, certainly.
Extension 193, Sergeant Gibbs speaking.
Hello, Sergeant. Carter here. Any news of Pelham?
I'm afraid not, sir. We've checked all his usual haunts. So far, no good.
Oh, well, he has a telephone number. Parker 192. Now, check the number, find out where it is. He's probably using the name Nottingham, George Nottingham. He's used it before.
Right, sir. And sir, Mr. Hepburn phoned. He said he wanted a word with you. It sounded urgent, so I told him you were with Mr. Foster.
What time was this?
About half an hour ago, sir.
Right, thank you, Sergeant. You say you found this on the desk in the lounge?
Yes.
Did she see you take it?
No.
Sure?
Yes, I'm quite sure.
Probably Mr. Hepburn.
Felix?
Yes, he's been trying to get in touch with me. He phoned my office about half an hour ago.
Oh, I see.
Oh, if it is Mr. Hepburn, don't say anything about this book.
No. All right.
I tried to get him in his office, but a chap called Gibbs, or some damn silly name like that, said he was probably with you.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Hepburn. I understand you've been trying to get in touch with me.
Yes, I have. I'm very worried, Inspector. Devilishly worried, if you must know.
What is it you're worried about, sir?
Someone's trying to murder my wife.
Trying to kill Paula?
Yes. There have been 2 attempts so far. One this morning and one...
We know about the accident in Oliver Street, sir, but surely you're not suggesting...
That was no accident. It was a deliberate, cold-blooded attempt to run my wife down. Fortunately, thanks to Paula's presence of mind, it failed.
And the other attempt, Felix?
Huh?
You said there have been 2 attempts.
Yes, they have, my old dear.
When was the first one, sir?
Can't you guess, Inspector? You know, you really ought to have thought of this. You really ought to have thought of this a long time ago, my dear chap.
What do you mean, sir?
You know what I mean, don't you, Guy?
No, I'm damned if I do.
What was Melissa wearing the night she was murdered?
Well, you know perfectly well what she was wearing. She'd borrowed Paula's coat. Paula's coat? Do you mean the murderer thought he murdered the wrong woman?
That's right, my old dear. He murdered the wrong woman.